Hi guys, this is Mrs. D. Today I'd like to show you how bar models can be used for multiplication and division. Just like when we use the part-whole bar model to represent addition and subtraction, you can easily use a bar model to represent multiplication and division. You can also really easily use that number bond, or what I like to call coach bubble, to get two multiplication and two division facts out of a group of three numbers in the same way that you would have gotten two addition and two subtraction facts out of that number bond. You can use one long rectangle to represent how many water balloons you have all together. You can make little lines in your rectangle that show how many teams are going to be throwing those water balloons. And you can very easily label with numbers rather than pictures, which would save you time, how many water balloons each team would get. Let's try an example together. In this example, Mrs. Drozowski decided to bring in Cookie Monster cupcakes for Mrs. Brewer's class to try and was surprised to find out that not everyone would. Why would you not? Only blank kids were willing to try Cookie Monster cupcakes. Were you one of those kids? I'd certainly try one. Because she had 15 cupcakes, each kid who was willing to try a cupcake got to have 3 of them. How many kids were willing to try a cupcake and ended up with 3? I think that would be the same number of kids who were probably later having their parents call to complain that they had upset stomachs, but I could be wrong. So, in this example, what I figured out is, as you know, I have 15 cupcakes all together. It would take a lot longer to draw those 15 cupcakes than I'm guessing it would take you to eat one of those cupcakes. So instead, I've drawn one long rectangle. How long would that take you? Maybe 2 seconds. Okay, I can count by threes: 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 to divide that one big long rectangle by the 3 cupcakes that I know go into each group, or to each kid that's undoubtedly going to have a stomachache. This is the exact same thing without the pictures. I've just labeled that I know each section here is representing 3 cupcakes. So I have my 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 total cupcakes. And as you've guessed it, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kids who will probably end up in the nurse's office with a stomachache. All right, so in my next example, Mrs. D got an update during the day from one of Mrs. Brewer's amazing math students. The student told her that the average customer was spending $6. In her first month of being open, Mrs. D's treat shop made $6,000. Mrs. D wondered if enough people knew about her store. Can you tell her approximately how many people came into the store? Let's go back to using that same number bond or coach bubble as we talked about last week. I know that altogether I had $6,000 that I made over the month. Because of one of your amazing classmates, perhaps even you yourself, I know that the average person was spending $6. My question is, how many customers were actually coming into the building? Okay, so now, just like we talked about, you can get two division and 2 multiplication problems out of this. There's no way I am going to spend all of my time drawing lines to count by $6 per person to get all the way up to $6,000 total. Why? We'd be counting here and drawing lines until well after spring break. Frankly, we might even be into summer vacation. It's completely okay. If you want to put a little bracket up here, it's not going to go the entire length because it's not representative of the whole amount. But if you want to put a little tiny bracket here to show me that there's an average of $6 per person, and if you want to put bracket here that shows the entire amount was $6,000, then you could just write a question mark in the middle that shows the number of the number of customers is what you're looking for. You want to make sure that not only can you figure out the answer from the problem, but by having your answer written down on paper, you can explain it to somebody else who's maybe struggling right now. So I would take my $6,000 that I earned all together, and I would divide it by the $6 per person, which would tell me how many customers I got. What is 6,000 divided by 6? 1,000, right? So I know that I have 1,000 customers that had come in the first month. I think that's pretty good for a new business. I'm not sure, but I seem happy with it. How about you guys? Thanks for listening. If all of this made sense, go ahead and give the worksheet a try. See how many you get. If you get stuck, I'm always here to help. If this seemed a little bit fuzzy, you're welcome to rewind and go back to the very beginning, or just go back to the parts that didn't make sense. It's totally up to you. Let me know if having this video helped you guys, would you please? Thanks.